Welcome into the 15-minute weather special. I'm meteorologist John Zeigler and Courtney Aitken.
Happy Tuesday. It is not just any Tuesday. We have a special announcement for you today. I'm very excited to share and talk more about it. And if you are watching sunrise, you may have already seen it. But if you are joining us for the 15-minute weather special, I think that there's really no better person to make the announcement than the legend herself. Toss it over to Belinda Jensen.
Well, Coda and I are just hanging out on this cloudy day, and speaking of weather, we have some big weather news at Kare 11. John Zeigler is going to be the new chief meteorologist at Kare 11. He has been a chief meteorologist, in fact, a meteorologist all over the country. It's great to have him home. He did an amazing job on Sunrise, and he will be an amazing chief meteorologist. He knows his stuff, he loves his weather, and if you follow him, you already know that. I want to say congratulations to my entire team, and I know they'll have you covered. And again, congratulations to John.
Wow.
Woo woo!
Look at that.
All right.
Oh man. So I did that 1 week with Julie. You can see there.
That was my first week. You were with Julie.
Yeah?
So we didn't
look at these
technically.
photos.
Yeah.
The winter photos. There's the team. Oh, Belle, we'll miss you so much. And then there's her goodbye party. I looked like I came in off the street there. I will miss everything about the morning show. The most incredible, all these photos. These are like skinnier there. I genuinely love working with Jason, Alicia, and Cece. And that was the coldest day of the year.
There it is.
There is 46 below on the right.
I remember that.
I don't think it's not just a one person deal when you get to this point in your life. You know, it takes a community. You know, I could say, I did all these things, but at the end of the day, to make it to the chief meteorologist or whatever you're trying to make it to, it takes a little bit of luck.
I was watching the screen so intently there. I was like listening and watching.
Those are some good pictures.
Didn't need to look so intense.
So I think when I go back to working with Jason, Alicia, and Cece, this team is crazy talented.
Yeah. And
it's funny because I call them crazy talented because there's one thing I think that separates an individual from like someone else would be your comfortability on being yourself. Mm-hmm. Can you be yourself or not? No, everybody's themselves on the show. So I immediately am like, well, then I can be myself.
Yeah.
And that you cannot be a dominant personality without other people who have dominant personalities in a good way.
In a good way. It's not the way that like people are, trying to outdo each other. It's
right.
Like genuinely
we love each other.
That show is good TV because of the relationships that you all have built. So what a special time you got to spend with them, and this will be an exciting new era. It will be a change, and I selfishly am sad because we've been able to do this for like 5 months now, which is crazy.
It's been awesome.
This has
been fun. We started this together.
Yeah.
We'll find a way we'll get some things implemented.
Yeah.
We just got to make the transition. I will miss mornings. I won't miss not sleeping.
You won't miss the alarm clock. What time was your alarm for the morning show?
When I started here or now?
We'll go full circle.
I started here at 1:45.
Yeah.
1:45 in the morning for the first year, and then I slipped it to 2:30, and now I'm at like 3.
Yeah. When I fill in for John, my alarm is like 1.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Why would it be 1?
I'm a girl. You don't have to do your hair and makeup.
I do when I get in here.
Yeah, but it takes you like 2 seconds.
But I look rough when I get in.
Well, we've had this argument before about who's a bigger catfish, and we don't need to do all that. But
that is funny. Catfish competition.
Catfish competition. Face off. No, but you get to sleep now. You will be up later.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a big change for my family. I did this job for, I guess, since 2000. I've been Chiefs from 2017 to 2023. So I think that was 7 years of being a Chief. And then I had kids, and then nights became difficult. So now I have kids, and I got to go back to nights. But it was weird to step into a side role in the mornings here. I kind of liked it. Didn't have to boss anybody around. Just kind of like, meh.
The mornings are cool because you're kind of on an island, but in a good way. Like you have your team,
right?
And you guys are all you're all in it together. You're all up in the middle of the night together, and that's why it really goes a long way to have a crew like you all have, where you're cracking jokes and you keep the energy high.
Oh, it's the best.
And so you are waking up at ungodly hours, but it's okay when the people are good. So.
But they help me, anyways. Going back to the great team, I think obviously I've learned a lot over the years on how to do my job better, or things I like, some things I don't like. But one thing you can't replace is people who are going to bring the best out of you. And I do credit not only them, Nate Anderson, our photographer. He's done incredible things for me that I do not deserve these things. And, I'm very honored. I think, I've done this will be my third time as chief. I try to learn every time throughout the years on how to be a leader, what's the best thing to do. And I think at the end of the day, it's trust other people. When I really think about the best thing I can do is trust other people and be okay not being the best. Because I think the first time I tried to be the best at everything, I tried to be like, I have to learn. I used to have an insecurity of having to know everything. So my first time I was younger, and I was like, I need to know how to do the web better and the app and all these technology things. And that isn't my vibe, right?
Yeah.
Learning that that's okay is what actually made me a better leader, which is an interesting thing. Because when you try to overmanage, which is the first initial thing that a weak manager does, then you actually bring others down. If you just trust other people and you, I guess, delegate, but not really, you can just trust your team, and then you can actually bring people up by just leading by example.
I think it's not delegating as much as it is, letting people work on things that really exemplify their strengths. And I think that that's something that Belinda did really well.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that you'll do really well too. And one thing that maybe people don't know is John's from here. You grew up in Champlin, right?
Champlin Park.
So you watched Kare 11 growing up. And I was listening to you talk to Alicia earlier. In college, Alicia and John both went to St. Cloud State, and they would talk about how cool it would be to work at Kare 11. And you said it would be so cool to be the chief at Kare 11 someday. So I just want to point out that this is literally a dream come true that you made happen. John's from here, and I really think that, you couldn't have picked a better person to lead this team.
Thank you.
Because you see it, if you follow John on Facebook, if you watch our silly little 15-minute things every day, you know that he loves weather. It shows in every aspect of what he does. And that's so important. You can't have somebody in this position that doesn't love the weather, that doesn't care about this community, and you check all those boxes.
Thank you.
So
Well,
I think that's
nice.
really cool. So
I don't do well with the compliments, but
said my piece. There we go.
I really appreciate that. I do love the weather.
You do.
I really do.
You really do.
I think there's, you always have imposter syndrome. Like, me? Really? But then you're like, this is what you do.
I think there's a healthy dose of imposter syndrome because.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the people before you. For me, I look at these people before me. I look at Paul Douglas, Ken Barlow over at Channel 5. He was the chief here. And I look at Belinda. That's 50 years, 3 people. I mean, we're talking about, and it might be longer than that, I didn't add up, but I mean, we're talking about people who I idolize, honestly, and people who are pioneers, and I think each of them have, Paul Douglas obviously going back there. I mean, Ken Barlow's got an amazing brand. But one thing I think with all of them is the authenticity. When I look at Ken Barlow over Channel 5, he is vulnerable. He allows people in on who he is, his struggles, his achievements. And I think that is what makes, in 2026, I think that's what makes these people great. I think that's something that we all could take a page from, is just, hey, be yourself.
Yeah.
And that to me is the most shocking thing. I think when you are truly yourself, it puts you in a vulnerable place.
Oh, for sure.
And I have that insecurities like everybody else does, and I am vulnerable, and I do worry about what others think of me. So there is that aspect of it, but I don't know any other way to live life but just be you. And that's what I think is most shocking to me is, why did I get this job? Just because I was me. And all I did was just be me. Mm-hmm. That was it. I love weather. That's part of me. But And it's something that I think I genuinely love for Belinda. Most recently, she did that the best. So I think if there's one thing I can do that emulate her, I'm not going to be her, but that's just have compassion for others. I think we talked about this, people take jobs too seriously. It's work. Mm-hmm. Lives matter. And I think if you want to get the best work out of people, then you have to care for them.
It's very true.
You actually have to care for them, not just care for them to get what you want. Actually care for this person, and magically that person will be better because they feel loved, supported, cared for. It's just a job.
Yeah.
We got things we got to do, but I just always promote life, compassion, caring for others.
Understanding that each person is a full person who comes to work and ideally does their best, but also has an entire different life outside of work.
Right.
I think that's really important to recognize, and it's hard to come by. So that's good. Also, you interned under Belinda, which is cool. It's like a full circle moment, right?
That's weird. I actually I had Jared Sebesta back in the day. He messaged me. I've had such great messages too, by the way. So Heather Lewis worked in Springfield with her, and she texted me and said, "You told me you were going to be chief meteorologist 10 years ago, at Kare 11." So it's like I've been all these places I've been. I'm like, this is it. Manifest
for years. Yeah.
Anyways, I interned here with Belinda and Jared Sebesta and Sven Sundgaard. All legends went in my eyes. And just Jared's like, can't believe the dude who came double fisting Bud Lights to the tent at the state fair as a college student is now the chief meteorologist at Kare 11. I'm like, yeah, dude.
That's incredible.
That's what he texted me.
Like I can just see it too in my mind.
It's like, Jared, have a beer.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah.
Like.
And now I am the old man, and I'm Professor Zeigler for the kids, and now I'm like, oh man, I'm the old guy now. Full circle. I try to go back to those moments of being the intern and feeling that just rush. There's just a rush of like, Mom, I'm going to be on TV. Belinda's going to put me on air. She's going to say, and that excitement. The unfortunate part of knowing when you've made it is when those things have worn off. And that's how
not as sparkly anymore.
No, because I know that I can do this job, but I still want to hold that child in me to be like, we did it. But there's a little like the being an intern here and just being like, what does the future hold? Now I'm like, the future is here. Like, now you got to crush it. You know what I mean? And that's just how I am. I should do a better job of embracing it, but I do allow myself to go back to those moments and be like, dang, dude, you did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's really cool. And there are still a lot of, not unknowns, because obviously there's a plan in place. We know what's going to happen. But, it's going to be an opportunity for you to work with a new team.
Yeah.
And there's just going to be opportunities for new memories and new defining moments. And
that's the weirdest part, I think, for me, is knowing that this is it for me, right? This is it. I'm going to be chief meteorologist Kare 11, or I'm going to work at Home Depot. That's it.
The contrast.
Well, you know what I'm saying? This is it. This is going to be it for me. So I want to put every ounce of energy that I have into this. But it's weird because when you look back 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's probably not going to be about some of the small stops that I've had along the way. This is the brand that I'm going to build. I can't wait to work with Julie Nelson, Kevin, and I think we're going to build something new. I hope that we can continue the legacy at Kare 11. And that's what's most important to me. When I think about watching as a kid, I think about community with Kare 11. I think about honesty with Kare 11. And I think about just warmth. Yeah. That's what I remember at Kare 11 is warm. And that's
just keeping it that way.
And keeping it that way. And I think that, try not to do too much. Try not to make it about me. Just try to fit in.
Okay, we have 30 seconds left. What is the first thing you're going to do as chief meteorologist? And don't say fire me.
The first thing I'm going to do?
Yeah.
All right, the first
thing.
You
can bring us back
do you actually want it? The first thing I'm going to do is when we start doing live coverage, I'm going to make sure that it's on our Facebook page more. If I went through the Facebook page just a couple days ago and there wasn't much weather, we're going to become the weather station again.
All right, here we go. The
You
weather
ready?
station. It's a new era. We'll see you tomorrow.